Hi, Sanya.
Hey there. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Hi, Umang.
Hi, Mrinal. Hi, Sayam.
All good? Yeah.
Cool, cool. So I'll just give a very brief introduction because we have a very short session, so that we can like take as many questions and like Sayam can guide us through like as much. So first of all, like hello everyone and welcome to this live session which is organized by Clatolog and Clatapult together. So it's now just only like one day left for CLAT and I hope your preparations are going very well. So we won't bother you too much. We'll just give you some like very quick last minute preparation um, so that you can just see like what all you should do now because like it's only 24 hours left for CLAT. So we have Sayyam with us. Sayyam is right now a student at NUJS and he's cracked CLAT in 2020 and secured like All India rank 43. And we also joined by Mrinal, who's right now a content creator at Clatolog, and she's also cracked CLAT. And I'm Umang, and I've graduated from NUJS in 2019, and right now I'm the editorial head at Loctopus. So, and also to just give a quick introduction of what like Clatolog and Clatapult is, so that like people who are joining us also like know. So Clatolog is a website which is like part of the overarching like Loctopus content websites, and like it covers like all the materials which you'd require for your like Clat prep or any other sort of like law entrance exam. And Clatapult is a leading Clat coaching center which has like centers across India, and like all the classes are taken by people who have graduated from these colleges so that they are best placed to like tell you what kind of like how to go about your preparations. So yeah, so I think we can start the session. I'll just like encourage everyone who's joining us to like ask as many questions, and we'll like take them at the end depending on like how much time we have. And yeah, that's all. And with that, over to you, Sayam. Please take this forward.
Sure, sure. I mean, this is the phase where most of the aspirants get completely jittery and nervous. So it's conventional to do that. And we have been in a difficult time altogether this year, but it's necessary to keep certain things in mind before you enter that center. And the first thing where I'll start off is the center pressure. Most of us haven't been on centers, most of us haven't written physical mocks yet. So this has been a common query among most of the aspirants that, how do I handle center pressure? How do I handle the mental preparation as to the how exam center approach should be? The simple answer to that is nobody has cracked it yet. Nobody exactly knows how to do that. But the simple point of reference which I'll give you is that when you enter in that center, you have to realize that out of the thousands of students writing that exam that specific day, every single one of you is as nervous as you are, and you will be. Take comfort in the fact that all of you are at an equal level. All of you are as jittery and nervous, and all of you have almost the same amount of center exposure that any aspirant could have had in such trying and tough times. So once you have realized that fact, every question just becomes easier. Take one question at a time. That is one basic thing which people tell us, people try to in try to enforce on us, but most of us keep trying to forget that. And because you'll have OMRs, and we didn't have that really, you have a different set of difficulties to face. What I'm going to suggest here is treat OMR as you should treat the online mocks. In online mocks also, we have this tendency of marking a question and moving forward. A lot of people don't do that in OMRs. Tomorrow, when you go into the exam, treat each and every question with the respect it deserves, mark the OMR, and move forward. If you think you have messed up, keep every question which you think you cannot answer or you are unable to answer towards the end. Don't try to preemptively mark the OMR. And this is the very basics of the exam in itself. Apart from that, I'll quickly go through the sequence strategy. Now, everybody has very individual oriented strategy to which section they'll attempt first or which section they'll attempt last. I'll share with you quickly my strategy. I started off with GK, ended with quant, and I like the reading heavy sections, so I went with legal, logic, and English in the middle. Now, that might be very different for you as an aspirant, but what I'll suggest is that keep two things in mind. GK, right? When you're doing GK, you either know the answer or you don't know the answer. This is the point to just revise and not overthink things. If you can get it correct, mark it, move forward. If you can't get it correct, it's okay to leave a few questions. CLAT is not going to check your percentage. You don't need to score 95 or 97% to get into NLS. If you attempt 80% question with, let's say, a 95% accuracy, you are already meant for the top three. Even if you attempt like 70% of the question with 100% accuracy, you are going to definitely crack top 10, top 5 NLUs. So don't worry that much about that. Just if you know it, mark it. If you don't know it, move on in the GK section. Quant section, quantitative techniques, is one section which actually eats up a lot of time and engages people a lot. In the sense that a lot of people try to overdo quant, because once you have you got into the groove, you are actually solving a question. A lot of people have the tendency to keep on solving and sacrifice other sections. Never do that. Quant is an important section, yes, but it is also not mark intensive. As in, the proportion of questions you prepare and answer to the proportion of marks you get will always be lesser than any other section. So keep these two things in mind and just take it chill. You'll get through it. I think we should move forward with specific questions now, as in general queries which we have received.
Sure.
Yes,
Mrinal,
Sayam.
can you just look at the questions and
Yeah, there was a question in the comment box regarding last minute preparation. Like, apart from GK and general revision, what other sections should someone focus on for the last day?
Today specifically, you should just revise GK and maybe go through quant formulas, nothing else. Why? Because towards the last moments before a competitive exam specifically, people have the tendency to confuse stuff. If you have practiced enough and you have prepared enough, you'll do good. And if you actually want to revise something, revise legal concepts, maybe a bit of logical theory, but don't overdo it. What my thumb rule was before CLAT or any other competitive exam, all that I wrote in the past year, was after 5 o'clock the day before the exam, I left the preparation. I just used to listen to music and chill. The simple reason is that after a point of time in a competitive exam, it is not going to test your rote learning skills or how much you are retaining. It is at the end of the day an aptitude test. If you have built enough aptitude, you'll do good. Just have faith in yourself and go for it. Just don't overstress yourself, don't overwork, and don't let your nerves control your actions today.
So for students who are wondering about CLAT LLM, we'll answer specific questions on that in a couple of minutes. In the meanwhile, Sayam, if you could please tell us, like, there were a lot of questions about how many questions should one attempt? Like, how do you decide what to attempt, what to leave?
So, see, you have 150 questions, and if anyone tells you that you need to attempt 150 questions to crack CLAT, they are lying to you. That is, the truth is very simple. If the paper is very difficult, right? Last year we got a above average difficulty paper. 130 to 135 were the optimal attempts in our paper. So when you sit down to write that paper, you have to make an assumption more than you'll have to gauge the difficulty level of your paper. This is a onus which is on you at this point. If the paper is easier and you think it is easily comprehensible, you can finish it fast, then you have to attempt, let's say, 140 plus questions. That is something very, very good. It's actually very good. But if it's a difficult paper, 120 to 130 attempts with a high accuracy works, definitely works. Even if you're making less attempts, but your accuracy is extremely high, you're doing a good job. So don't run behind numbers, run behind accuracy and the general gauging of, how difficult the paper is. That is the most important aspect of CLAT.
Right. So when it comes to CLAT PG, I'm just gonna discuss it very briefly. The last day should be spent on revising all the major judgments that you've come across and all the landmark judgments. So since 1950, all major judgments, and for the last 5 years, every major judgment that has been delivered by the Supreme Court or even the High Courts, though it's mostly the Supreme Court, you should have those on your tips. It could be related to the privacy judgment, it could be the Ayodhya judgment, the Riya Chakrabarti case, There are a lot of cases on sexual orientation, so a lot of NALSA judgments, Navteet Singh Johar versus Union of India. So these are the kind of judgments that you should be reading and revising. Another thing that was noticed in last year's CLAT PG was uh, that the citation of the privacy judgment was also asked. So if there is any important judgment that you feel like is definitely going to be asked, just take a look at the citation once. It has not happened before, but it did happen last year. Uh, so if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. And of course, with what Sayam said, try to gauge what sort of paper is there. If you feel like it is difficult, then just understand it's difficult for everyone. Don't try to over attempt the paper because there is negative marking and that's just going to negatively affect your rank. That's what happened in CLAT PG last year. The exam was incredibly difficult and even the top ranks got less than 50% of the marks. So do not over attempt the paper. If it's difficult for you, it's difficult for everyone if you've made a sincere effort. So keep that in mind. Do not, keep over attempting. That's actually just gonna affect your result in a major way. If you have any specific questions related to CLAT PG or UG, please feel free to ask. Umang, Sayam, if
Yeah,
you have anything to add.
There's one more question that should we attempt a mock test today also. So would you want to take that, Sayam?
definitely. I'll suggest against it. Don't attempt a mock today. If you want to attempt something, maybe go through the previous sample clad paper or clad paper. The reason is if you sit and attempt a mock, the mock is not just to test your preparation. It is basically to analyze and build upon your weak issues, right? Because you have less than 24 hours, it does not make sense to actually think a lot about what is weak or what you are not being able to attempt right now. So a sample paper or a previous year paper works beautifully because you just go through the pattern, the style, the conceptual questions. Also, CLAT has a lot of template questions. What do I mean by that? Last year, if you go through the paper today, last year's paper, you'll realize there were certain questions which had certain type of templates. For example, in a question which is based on GK concept, you'll realize out of the four options, three are easily deductible that you can remove, right? CLAT gives you free answers. CLAT gives you free points too. Try to identify that today. Go through those template questions. Understand what CLAT is trying to gauge. There are questions where the wordings are tweaked slightly, and that's all the CLAT is asking you. Go through all of this today instead of writing a mock. Writing a mock today becomes very pointless. Go through the previous paper, just identify the concepts and the template questions the CLAT is asking. You're good to go.
Yeah, and it can also like run counter too because like you want to be motivated and positive before the exam and like in case like anything untoward happens during like the mock because you always attempt a mock thinking that you're giving an actual exam. So like giving two exams in 2 days is not something which is advisable. There's one more question which is what is the cutoff marks for NLS? So I think while that will be something which is subjective, but you want to just take a stab at it, Sayam?
Sure. I won't answer it specifically to NS, but to top three NLUs, right? So if you saw the cutoffs or if you check the cutoffs last year, they were unnaturally low, if I have to say that. That is around 92 or 93 people started clearing of NLS and around 86 or 85 people started to clear NUJS. Point is that flat paper has a certain amount of difficulty and that difficulty determines the cutoff. So preemptively, taking a exact number is not advisable, but try to score in the triple digits. That is the safest if you want to get into the top three or top five NLUs. Once you have secured a triple digit mark or you think you are close to that, if the paper is easier on the easier side, just try to score above that and keep punching above the belt instead of, wondering if this one mark will determine my rank or not. Just try to set a base limit of triple digit marks and do that. Just try to achieve that. That's a very safe score to be.
So Sayam, there's one more question where the student is asking for the exam. should we attempt those sections first, which are basically our strengths?
Definitely so. So it also depends on two things, right? If you're very strong in a certain subject, let's say quant, but you take a lot of time, even if you have 100% accuracy, but you're taking a lot of time, it becomes counterproductive. Same applies to, let's say, legal, logic, English, any subject. If you're extremely good, but you take extremely lot of time, don't try to go for that. What I'll suggest is, if you are good at it and you can get it done quickly, do that before. And then try to attempt questions which take longer time. So more than just your strength, gauge the time each question is taking. CLAT not only tests your aptitude, but also tests your time management skills. The better you are at time management, the faster you can actually get through the paper with a high accuracy, the better. So if you have a section which you prefer over others, if it takes lesser time, then go for it. Otherwise, don't. Otherwise, keep it for the end.
All right. So there's one question which says that if you've been scoring an average in mock test, say around 60, could you still get into an NLU?
You know, mocks don't matter here. At this point, it doesn't matter how much you have scored in any mock or what your rank or percentile in any mock was. What matters is how oriented you are tomorrow and how well you do tomorrow. Right? And even if you're scoring average, right, it's just a clean slate tomorrow. Go in with complete preparation, with the determination to crack CLAT. And if you score beautifully, you'll just get it. You don't need to think about what the mocks scores are or percentages are. Just treat the mocks as a learning step. Remember what mistakes you did in your mocks, don't repeat them tomorrow. That's it. Otherwise, the marks, the scores, the rank in the mocks don't matter at this point. What matters is what you do tomorrow and what you get out of tomorrow. That's it.
And Sayam, could you give a couple of tips regarding the logical reasoning section?
So, because you have less than 24 hours today, read the theory. People don't stress on this enough. Logical reasoning has a theoretical component to it. For example, what is an inference? What is an assumption? How do you derive inferences? How do you clarify assumptions? These are basic theories which is easily available on net. You just go on Google it. You get tons of blogs and articles on it. Go through it and you'll realize that when you are answering the question tomorrow, when you are reading the basics, right? So the question stem asks you specific things in logical reasoning. It will just ask for assumption or inference or logical inconsistency. If you know the theory behind this, it becomes easier to approach and attempt these questions. So for today, just read through the theory, go through it briefly, and tomorrow, when you're approaching the question stem, approach it with a clear mind. And just focus on what the question stem is asking, not what the paragraph is talking about. Paragraph is going to be deliberately content heavy and misleading. Question stem will never be so. So just attach the theory with question stem and you'll be good to go.
There was another question, if you have any tips for GK.
Twofold tips actually. Whatever notes you have made today, right, till today, or whatever you have read today, or the mocks, whatever, if you have anything at your perusal, go through all of it today. I'm not asking you to learn it, rote learn it, or quiz yourself on it. Just go through it. Competitive exams work in a very weird way. It's human tendency to forget things when you try to rote learn it. But if you have something which you have read a day or two before and you just sit in the exam and a question comes on the similar template, you will automatically be able to derive the answer from the contextual learning you did throughout this process. Do that. Secondly, GK is my personal favorite section for the simple reason that the intensity of marks you get, right, the volume of marks you can get in the least amount of time comes from GK. So if you can, attempt GK first. In the first 5 to 8 minutes, score as much as you can and move forward. GK is, that's it. You know it, you attempt it. You don't know it, you don't attempt it. And you just move forward. Today, just read through the notes, go through it. Don't try to rote learn it. Just read. Also, I guess we have a question on the facts and the conceptual based question of GK. I'll just club it with this answer itself. CLAT had a tendency of asking factual questions till 2019. In 2020, although, it was observed that along with factual questions, there were also conceptual questions. So, instead of right now stressing about anything about conceptual or anything, I'll tell you simply what has happened. Throughout this process of preparation, you were told again and again to read newspapers, read op-eds, editorials, go through paragraphs, do reading heavy content analysis, right? That is where the conceptual questions get built up. And trust me, most of you, even if you think you do know the answers, you actually do if you have prepared good enough. Even if you have written 5 proper mocks, you have actually read enough content by now to build up on conceptual questions. So when CLAT throws conceptual questions at you, don't be on the back foot. Try to find the answer from the context of the paragraph, because most of the conceptual questions stems out from there, and you'll be able to do that. Trust me.
There was another follow-up question about how much time should a person ideally spend on the GK section.
So the maximum time a person should give to a GK is around 8 to 10 minutes. But in CLAT 2020, what happened was the GK section was very reading heavy. So people took at max had 12 minutes. But after 10 to 12 minutes, don't extend it. If you have questions left, leave it for them. Do other sections, then come back to it. But don't spend in the worst case scenario, don't spend more than 12 minutes.
Okay, so there's this question that I waste too much time in the legal aptitude section, because of which the other sections get affected. So, any tips for that?
Legal has extraordinary importance in CLAT. Why? Firstly, because you are preparing for a law exam, you want to go into a law school. That's one. But the second component is legal questions are tiebreakers. So if you get a higher mark in, let's say, legal section, and someone else gets lesser mark in legal section, but both of you are on the same rank, legal will be used to break the tie. That being said, 35 to 40 minutes is something which is the best and the worst case scenario as well for legal reasoning. Anything lesser than that or anything above that is not advisable. And why am I setting a minimum level for legal is because you need to be extra careful while approaching legal section. Legal section will determine, let's say you get a good rank of 400 or 500, right? And you are on the borderline of Jodhpur or NUJS. Your legal section might effectively determine if you go to Jodhpur or Kolkata or let's say or Bhopal or out of top 5. So give at least 35 minutes, but not more than 40 minutes. If you have some questions left, move forward. Don't spend more than 40 minutes. Attempt the other questions. Try to score as much marks, then come back to legal. Allot 5 minutes at the end of your 2 hours to come back to legal, and definitely do come back to legal. And that is how you need to go through the paper. Legal is very important, but not more than 40 minutes is what I'm going to advise today.
Yeah, and another thing which I'd like to add is like you all can look at questions not in terms of their like what category they are in terms of like English or quant or legal, but also just like by questions themselves. Like something which I did during my CLAT year was like if I had to second guess for even for a second about a question, I just move forward to the next question. And what ended up happening was like by like the first hour, like I was done with all the questions I was extremely sure about. So then I was like more comfortable also in the exam, thinking that okay, I have like 100 marks which I'm sure about. Now I have another hour where I can, like, if I can score like 50 more, then I'll be, because during my year it was a 200 mark paper. So so even if like you're not too sure about legal, there would be like at least 5 questions out of like how many questions are there which you're very sure about. So attempt those 5 first and then move on to the questions which might take you more time. So that's also one thing which really helps with time management specifically.
Yes, I definitely concur with Umang has to say. You should stop worrying about, I'm very strong in this section. Of course, start with a section that you feel very comfortable with. and you can attempt with greater accuracy in a time efficient manner. But then go ahead with solving and attempting all those questions that you feel like you've answered them correctly, and worry about other time consuming questions later. And as far as CLAT PG is concerned, a lot of students are commenting that the syllabus is very vast. So of course it will be very vast because you know you have already studied law for 3 years or 5 years. So they will be testing you on all the basics, whether it's contract law, property law, something related to banking or finance. But mainly in CLAT PG, you'll see that questions are mostly related around constitutional law, some major judgments from criminal law, and there are a lot of essays on jurisprudence as well. So any major essays on jurisprudence that you come across, especially in the sample papers given by the consortium, go through them, because there is a 99% chance that those very essays or other part from the same essay will come in the paper. So read up on them, understand the idea behind those essays, and you'll be able to attempt those very easily. So Sayam, there's this question that how much time should we give to the quantitative technique section?
So in general, there'll be around 12 to 15 questions in the QT section, right? The thumb rule is every single question should be given 1 minute. So if there are 12 questions, 12. If there are 15 questions, 15. But this it's also the truth that some questions will take less than a minute and some questions will take more than a minute, right? So in a bulk, try to attempt in 15 minutes, and it's okay to leave a few questions in quant, right? Quant is one section which most of the people are worried about because it takes a lot of time for some people to calculate. So let's say in 15 minutes, if you can solve 9 to 10 questions, that's good enough. Now, also you'll have to take a call on how fast you can go through the other sections, or how fast you have already gone through the other sections. So for me, I used to attempt quant towards the end, and I used to have around 20-25 minutes for quant because my reading speed was thoda high. If your reading speed is slow and you just have 10 to 15 minutes, it's okay. A lot of as much time as you have to quant, and in that 15 minutes, try to attempt like 9 or 10 questions. You are good to go. You don't need to go for full 15. Just need to go for 9 correct ones, and that's it for the quant. And if you have more time, just give it to the quant if you can, because quant is also one interesting section. While attempting the question, you will know if the answer is right or wrong. There's no place for ambiguity. So yeah, 15 minutes minimum. Do that. If you think you can allot more time, allot it according to the other section. Don't allot it otherwise.
So there's a question like what to do if the questions themselves are incorrect.
Oh, see, if you know the questions is incorrect, right, or are incorrect, which is generally not exactly possible to gauge at the center. For example, it happened with us, right? The last question of the quant section was wrong. It was wrong because we realized that the formula will never fit in. There was a perimeter formula which couldn't have fit in. So we just left it. There is no other way of going out incorrect questions. If you have recognized the question as incorrect, there is no right answer to it, right? It's not like you can mark it and you can get it right. So I hope I'm audible and visible.
You are now.
Right. I'm so sorry about that. So people will tell you that it's if it's an incorrect question and you mark it, you might get a positive mark. But also remember that this is contingent on two things. Firstly, that you have realized question is incorrect and you're correct about it. Quant is also a section, or other sections are also a section where people believe that the question is incorrect, but it might not be so. So just don't go attempting answers just because your question is incorrect. And secondly, if you have realized that you cannot get around to the answer, or the around answer seems impossible to achieve in a question, move forward. Don't spend a lot of time there. There's no point doing that.
Okay, so there were a couple of questions about the exam center pressure, because it's going to be an offline exam. Students have not had that experience since long. So how to deal with that?
In our year, in our batch, we had like 8 or 9 months of center practice. Some people adapted to center very well. Some people didn't. Some people had center jitters a lot more than the others. But the beautiful part is, on the first day when you go to write your first mock, everybody has to face the equal amount of center pressure. So tomorrow you won't go in with a lack of privilege or a privilege of having control over center pressure. Your entire batch has never set foot in a center to write an offline mock. Think about it this way, that out of the 80 or 90,000 people whoever are writing the mock, the CLAT, none.
I think Sayyam's video is not.
Yeah, I hope I'm online.
Yeah, we can see you now, Sayyam.
Yeah.
Sorry for the glitchy net. So, because none of you have ever set foot in a center to write a mock, CLAT will be equally pressury, equally testing your nerves for everyone. The faster you realize the fact and take comfort in it, the faster it gets easier. Because if everyone is at a negative level, everybody is at ground zero. Tomorrow, all of you will be on ground zero. Don't worry about center pressure. Everyone is facing the same pressure as you are. So it negates any disadvantage which you think you might have.
Yeah, also just to add some things like personally what you can do is just ensure whatever makes you the most comfortable, which is like carry the mask which makes it like easier for you to breathe. Like these are small things which you can take care of. If you want to carry a sanitizer because you just want to sanitize your hands, if you're scared about like contracting like COVID because you're in a large gathering, so just do those things which you realize will make you comfortable. That's one thing. And second is also like what as Sayyam is saying, because like before this also, for example, like when I gave CLAT, that time also we had an offline exam, but none of us ever went to a center and practice as such. Like there was only the practice we had was of filling with those OMR sheets from before. So there's nothing as such that you have like a center practice and that makes it easier. It's just that wherever you can concentrate better and you have to just like prepare yourself mentally. So last day you can do like use for these things.
Yes, and I also think that, there are a couple of other things as well that you should keep in mind. The exam is in the afternoon and the weather is so bad already. So keep yourself hydrated, and before you come to the center, eat something that's going to keep you awake. Do not eat foods that, people have a tendency to get drowsy in the afternoon. So try to, have a piece of fruit or something that would keep you active. Apparently, apples are very good to, for your concentration. So have that sort of food so that you're not hungry during the exam. 2 to 4 is that sort of time where you would feel like you want to have something or have a snack. But surely keep a bottle of water handy with you. That's extremely, extremely important.
Yeah, Mrinal's basically saying don't eat rice before your exam, otherwise you'll all feel very sleepy.
So there's one more question. Can you tell how much marks you got in legal aptitude?
I don't remember exactly the marks I got in the legal aptitude, but I scored somewhere around 97.75 overall. And that was enough to clear the cutoff for NLS last year. So you realize that the cutoff went actually pretty low for a 150 mark paper. So yeah, I can't really tell you the component, but I did like legal aptitude over all the other sections, specifically legal aptitude and GK. So yeah, those two were the subjects where I scored on the higher side comparable to the, let's say, logic or quant.
So it's like, is it worth going to NLS? Do you want to touch on it briefly?
Okay, I didn't take NLS for personal reasons more than professional reasons. So I can't really comment on the worth of going to NLS or not going to NLS. What I can definitely vouch for is NUJS is definitely worth it. All the effort I've put in the preparation, in the drop year towards NUJS, it's all worth it at the end of the day to crack it. I believe the same goes for NLS too. So yeah.
So there's this question about should we carry a watch for time management? So according to the notification that was issued by the consortium, yes, you can. but only analog watches do not carry a smartwatch with you or any other electronic device. And even if you do not carry a watch with you, there will be one clock in the center. There will be invigilators to tell you the time. So it totally depends upon you how you want to go about it.
Yeah, but personally, I'd say, for example, like I remember during when I gave CLAT, so in my room there was some issue with the clock. So like while most of the times you'll always have like somebody to tell you, but it's always like better. Again, it's like a personal preference, like whatever makes you most comfortable.
Okay, so there was about CLAT PG. So CLAT PG is mostly content heavy. You have to read, and what I would prefer is like when I give CLAT, it makes more sense to go through the questions first because the passages are long, and otherwise you're just mindlessly reading through the whole content. When you go through the questions first, and you go back to reading the paragraph, you sort of correlate the questions with the comprehensions, and it's easier to answer all these questions. Just make sure you've revised all the landmark judgments, in a very well manner. If there's been any major amendment to any law and there has been any judgment that specifically challenges the constitutionality of any law, that is like something that you should have, that you should know by the back of your hand. So these are some important questions, and there's also a lot of focus on international law and especially maritime law. These are sort of the subjects that we do not focus on much in law school, but in CLAT PG there is a tendency of these questions coming up. So make sure you know some major international judgments, especially those relate to rights of passage or territorial waters. These questions are extremely common. So CLAT PG is very easy in the sense that you already know the law, you studied the law. So even if you sometimes do not have the knowledge of a specific case, you can apply your legal knowledge to the question, and there is a very good chance that you will answer it very accurately. So just focus on the law, uh, learn all the basics, revise them, and that's all that you can do at this point, because there's just a day to go. Do not start with something new altogether and confuse yourself.
Okay, so are there any other questions? Let's see.
So there are a lot of questions about options after giving CLAT PG. Like students are asking about jobs and which NLUs to join. So for that, we'll have a specific different live session after the exam, based on the questions that you have and sort of with the analysis of the paper and the expected cutoff. It's really important to underline this, that we cannot give you an expected cutoff without having the paper in hand. The cutoff will vary from year to year depending on the difficulty level of the exam. For instance, the last year exam was extremely difficult for PG, and I suppose UG as well. So the cutoff was comparatively lower. So just wait for that expected cutoff thing. You'll probably know it by tomorrow evening, once all the coaching centers and all the legal websites have the question paper in their hand.
Yeah, so therefore, like, don't think too much about what the cutoff is going to be, or like even these things about like what if the questions are wrong, or because like these are like concerns which should be at the like after the exam is over. Like right now, the only thing should be to like relax, chill as much, have a good night's sleep. Yeah, this is something which is the most important. That like please sleep as much, because even if you like end up reading more things, it's only going to harm you if you haven't like slept enough. Because like as Sayyam was saying, as Mrinal was saying, that this is a test which like tests your aptitude and how much you can like adapt to the circumstances, because it's going to throw questions which you would have like learnt about but you might not exactly know about. So it's best if you're in the right frame of mind. So therefore, like, be hydrated, sleep, eat the right things, and just give your best. In terms of like, you can never think about what the cutoff is going to be, because like what I see during my law school was, in my year, out of the 200 mark, like NLS was starting at some, I think, 165 marks, which was the highest in the last couple of years. But like just 1 year after me, like the cutoff for NLS was like some 132 or 133. So therefore, like cutoffs are not going to vary a lot, and it wouldn't matter if you performed your best, because like it's all like relative also. If it's tough for you, it's tough for everyone. So don't think that okay, I have to attempt X number of questions. Just like do the best which you can, and like, I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, so for students who are asking, the last year's cutoff for CLAT PG was around 65, so which was almost 50%. Like I said, the paper last year was extremely difficult. I sat for it myself. So, of course, I can tell you from first-hand experience. Another question was about, if you're confused between two options, which to decide. Uh, if you feel like you have a reasonable, sort of logic for opting for one option over the other, attempt it. Otherwise, leave it. You know, between two options, you get one wrong. Between four options, you get one wrong. You're still losing zero point 0.5 marks. Do not do that. It's as simple as that. That's exactly what happened in CLAT PG last year, because the questions were so confusing. Like I said, there was one question about the citation of the K.S. Puttaswamy judgment, and there were just, page numbers difference. And of course, a lot of people got that wrong because you just looked at the citation, nobody remembers the citation verbatim. And for the major judgments of CLAT PG, focus on all judgments that relate to COVID-19. Any guidelines that have been issued by the Supreme Court, those are extremely important. The privacy judgment, which is the K.S. Puttaswamy judgment, the Ayodhya judgment is extremely important. Judgments relating to Jammu and Kashmir, any petition that has been filed, whether it's relating to the internet curbs or the union territory status of the state uh, of the union territory. So these are something which you should keep in mind. These are extremely important. There are also a couple of judgments relating to reservation, sexual orientation. I've mentioned this before, Navteej Singh Johar, the Nalsa judgment. All of these are extremely, extremely important. So go through those, especially those relating to COVID-19. They will definitely be asked in the CLAT PG paper. So Sayam, I think you can just give one, final tips, encapsulate everything. Yeah.
Finally speaking, remember CLAT is an aptitude paper, right? Anything and everything which you have done today, till today, was not to rote learn or anything. It was just to build aptitude. And that is what is going to be tested tomorrow. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if you have read 1000 pages of notes or you have read 100 pages of notes. If you have built aptitude worth the NLU you are targeting in these few days, you are good to go. Nobody can take your aptitude away from you. Whether it be the consortium themselves, even if they try their hardest, they cannot take away your aptitude. Tomorrow, remember, it's not about who has prepared more, who has prepared better, who was smarter in school, who scored highest in the boards. It's all about if you have the aptitude for the NL you are aiming for or not. That's it. Attempt each and every question with that metric only. Don't try to, introduce metrics tomorrow in the paper. You're not there to analyze the paper. You are not there to critically analyze the passages. You're just there to answer them and move forward. Do that for 2 hours. And after that, you can sit down with the people, you can analyze, you can critique however you want, how much you want. But for those 2 hours, just concentrate on each and every question separately, answer them, move forward. If you have the aptitude, you'll get through. And if you have worked on your aptitude enough, nobody is going to, take away your seat. It is yours. That. Secondly, just keep in mind that there are few things such as the sequence you are attempting in, the time you are managing. Don't spend more than, let's say, 2 minutes on a very difficult question. Just move forward. Remember that it's not about getting 100%. It's about getting 100% accuracy of however attempts you do. That is here it is implied that you just don't attempt 10 questions and move forward. Even if you are applying, let's say, even if you are attempting, let's say, 50 to 60% of your paper with 100% accuracy, that's good. Do that, right? After you're done with it, after tomorrow, you can sit back and you can analyze however you want. Just till tomorrow, hold your horses, keep your nerves in check, take every single question as a aptitude based question, just to get 1 mark, nothing more, nothing less. Don't think about the cutoffs, don't think about the bulk of ranks which you'll get or anything. Just take one question at a time, and that's it. All the best to everyone of
Umang, do you have any closing remarks?
No, just like I concur with everything what Sayam is saying, and yeah, just the same. I don't think like right now there's no point like thinking, okay, this is my strength, this is my weakness. Like think it only to the extent that okay, this is how I'm going to attempt tomorrow's paper. Don't think that okay, if I have like this strength, what like I won't be able to crack CLAT because like last year this happened, next year this will happen. Because like one thing which I'll say is whenever I like talk to all my batchmates at NUJS, like most of them say that if we had taken CLAT on any other day, we don't know what might have happened. Like we might have gone to NLS or we might not have cracked CLAT at all. And I think that's something which, like, barring it, some few people, that's something which everyone would say, no matter if they've gone to like NLS or even if they've gone to like say a college or even if they haven't like cracked CLAT. So that's one thing that it's only contingent on like tomorrow. And like I've also seen people who only like prepared for 10 days and had a great time giving the exam just because of various reasons, because they just happen to know most of the questions which came. And also like what Sayam is saying, and I saw there were some questions also about what is like what do you mean by aptitude, and it's an aptitude based exam. So CLAT is not something which you need a specialized knowledge for. In terms of, you look at it like English, GK, if you've just been like reading a newspaper since childhood, then like most like 60-70% of the exam is sorted for you. If you've been sitting for like Olympiads as a child, then like all these quant questions and all are very easy for you. So therefore, like, take as much pressure off yourself as you can. Like, this is the point right now to not like put yourself in a spot that okay, this won't happen, this will happen. Just focus on like eating right, sleeping right, listen to some music before you go to the exam. Just take your mind off as many things as you can. And when you're in the exam, just remember to like small things like breathe as much as you can, because lots of people get very flustered also if they don't know two questions. Then that sort of like tumbles them in a spiral that oh, I didn't know these two questions, next two questions also will be like that. But just keep yourself as calm as possible, and yeah, like I'm sure it'll be great. So and yeah, just one more thing is like we'll also be like putting out lots of these like tips or like analysis for like these papers and all after CLAT on the website Clatolog. So you can follow our social media handles and also go to our websites and see like what we've been putting, because like we'll be constantly in touch with you, and I'm sure like Mrinal also will like tell you more about this. So yeah, that's it. Like over to you, Mrinal.
Yeah.
Before that, I'd just like to add one last thing, right? There'll be very few or rare people or instances where people come up to you and tell you that they enjoy the process of writing CLAT. This is something very uncommon. You'll hear from any aspirant. But trust me, if you enjoy tomorrow's 2 hours of the process of CLAT, you'll do a lot more better, right? You'll do a lot better. There are very few people who actually enjoy this process. Try to enjoy it. This is once in a lifetime opportunity, and CLAT is a very different competitive exam, right? You don't have such a paper or such a interesting paper to deal with. In any other exam which you'll give in your lifetime will not be as interesting or as challenging as CLAT. So look at it this way, and enjoy the process. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. Thank you, Sayam. Thank you, Umang. So, just one last tip for everyone. After you give the exam, do not spend all your time, fretting over, oh my God, I was thinking this was the right option, but I marked this, or I could have gotten this right, or what is going to happen? Just be kind to yourself. You worked this hard, and, you've sat for the exam. Anything that you think you could have done differently will not change the result. So be kind to yourself. It's just one exam. So, not all of your life will depend upon it. So be kind, and, just enjoy the process, and do not spend your time before the exam tomorrow getting all nervous and riled up. Just be calm, and, have faith in the process, and have faith in the preparation that you've done, and you'll do all really, really well. So all the best to everyone. If you have any questions, you can DM us or drop us an email. We'll be there to help you till tomorrow and post that as well. We'll have more webinars on career options, cutoffs, the CLAT analysis, and we'll hope to see you there as well. So thank you, Sayam, once again. Thank you, Umang, and everyone. Have a nice day.